I do have to read this. My name is Cathy Ferguson. I want to thank the mayor for letting me speak to you today. Also, I want to thank him for announcing that November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. My husband had surgery for this horrible disease 21 months ago and is still living, but with many complications. This is a disease of men and women, the young and the old. Our son Dan went in for gallbladder surgery on April 23rd of this year, only to find out he also had pancreatic cancer. His was inoperable. He fought a brave battle for 2 months. He died June 28th. He was only 44 years old. This year, 42,000 people will be diagnosed with it. 35,000 will not survive a year. Only 5% will survive 5 years. It is the fourth leading cause of cancer death and has the highest mortality rate. It is a hard disease to diagnose. Most of the time, it is found too late for any curative treatment or surgery. Sometimes it takes a while to get the right diagnosis. Gallbladder, digestive problems, acid reflux are just a few of the things that people are told at first. We do not have many survivors to raise their voices for it. It is up to family members and friends to raise awareness for this disease. Pancreatic cancer receives only 2% of funding from the budget of the National Cancer Institute.
How much confidence did it take kind of coaxing from family members?
It took a lot. I was very nervous, didn't sleep well last night. I just think my son helped me do it because I just feel that, we have to get more awareness out there. And, if one person thinks about it and their symptom is something that can diagnose them early, that's what we need.
Pancreatic cancer is relatively rare. I mean, if you have someone in your family battle it, it doesn't happen to everybody. You had 2.
Yes, it's very rare.
If you could just talk about your battle. I mean, being wife and a mother, it's got to be tough.
It's very tough. I never dreamed, when my husband came home and my son helped him, up the stairs that, within 2 years he'd be gone because, he didn't have any symptoms until March. And then it was just, digestive problems, and it's just happened so fast. People don't realize.
And if you don't mind the timeline, first it was your husband that was battling it. When exactly was that?
My husband started in November of 2007. His final, they diagnosed him in December. And he had surgery January 25th of 2008. And he's just had a lot of complications since then. Yeah. A lot.
And then as your son, is he's helping him?
Right. His was just started in March of this year. Went in and first they told him he had pancreatitis, and then they said he had gallbladder. And he had surgery in about 3.5 weeks. And he just had a bloated feeling and just, uncomfortable. And he wasn't a complainer. He didn't get ill, until this. And it just, he went in and he was stage 4. And there just wasn't a whole lot they could do for him. He was very brave.
And 2 months later, sadly.
And 2 months later, he was gone. Just, people don't realize how fast it can hit. Because I never dreamed it would ever hit one of our children.
It's obvious you're still pretty emotional about it. I mean,
very.
It had to come as a shock because, like you said, it wasn't something that was detected. You knew it was coming. It was
right. I was outside when my son and his wife came from the doctor after his gallbladder surgery, and he went to the oncologist. And I was in the garage, and he came in and told me what he had. And he said, "I'm sorry, Mom." And I said, "For what?" And he says, "For what I'm going to put you through." He was just very brave.
Tough to ask questions. I can't even put myself in your shoes.
I know, because you're a little younger than he is, but it's just.
In putting the purple ribbons around the city, what are you hoping to do?
I'm hoping that it'll make people more aware, and hopefully they'll go to some of the websites and find out more about it and what the symptoms are, and. We need more money for research because, like I said, we don't get a lot of money from research from the National Cancer Institute. And like for our sons, when he passed away, we had envelopes there from Johns Hopkins that people could donate in his name, and that money goes directly for pancreatic cancer. Last month in September, my daughter-in-law and daughter and some friends, we went to Chicago and we did a pancreatic walk. And between about 5 of us, we were able to raise $1,600, and the walk itself raised $230,000. And that was through Lust Garden Foundation. And all that money goes for just pancreatic cancer. So I just want people to be aware that, you know, we need money for funding for research because we need a test to detect it.
And not only the funding aspect of it, but also early detection is your biggest
Right,
weapon.
that is the thing, and we don't have a test for that right now because it's very hard to detect. People get diagnosed with other things, like my son, you know, with gallbladder. And I mean, I've got a list of people that, you know, one woman had a stomach ache, and they told her she had pulled a muscle in her stomach. And, you know, and this can go on for months, you know, before they find the actual cause, and you just don't have months, you know, to get the diagnosis.
Because sadly, as your son is evidence of.
Right, he was stage 4. My
6
husband,
months.
yeah, my husband was a stage 2, and like I said, he's still living, has lots of complications, but we're hanging in there. And I would like to get a support group going for here so that we could maybe have a walk to raise money, and hopefully next year I could do that. And if anybody would be interested, you know, I'd like to get a group formed here in town, because, you know, when you have a loved one that you're taking care of, you can't drive to Indianapolis or Chicago. You know, you need somebody locally.
Those things cost money.
Yes, they do.
Anything else you'd like to add? And if you'd like, we'll put this story on our website. We can say if you want to get involved, contact.
Yeah, I do have an email address that I was going to give out.
Okay, perfect.
And
Anything else you'd like to add along this topic?
I can't think right now. When I leave here, yeah, I'll think of lots of things. I just want people to be more aware of it and know what the symptoms are and catch it early, because that's, like I said, without a test, it's hard. But, you know, if somebody tells you something, just don't take their word for it. If you're still feeling bad, follow through with it.
If you don't mind, we'd like to keep the microphone on, but look through some of the pictures that you brought.
Okay,
along, just
I
to
can
kind
do that. They're up here if I can get them.
of put them along the page somewhere.